Hi, I would like to ask a huge favor, please. If you guys could start commenting on my videos, um, I would like to get some ideas from you guys of what you would like to hear. It just helps me create content for you guys. Um, I want to base my content on our story, but also geared towards you guys. Um, So it's not just me talking at you, but talking with you. Okay? I think it's amazing. I have some subscribers. Um and that way we can become a family. Okay? Because let's face it, dealing with this is not easy. It is a you know a tough love on your part, tough love on their part, and sometimes the advice is not always you know gonna work, and my thoughts are not always gonna agree with your thoughts. I am not a licensed therapist. I am just a human being going through a like experience with you. It's not the same experience. Okay, it's like apples and oranges. We're both in the fruit category, but everybody's experience is different. And that's why I want to gear our information and get your comments and your feedback and tell me, hey, if I give you some information that you feel is incorrect, let me know. Or if I was too harsh in a video, let me know. You know, you can say, hey, Christina, that comment last week or in this video, it's a little rough. And I'll listen to it. I am a very empathetic person, and so I don't bite people's heads back. I'm not going to get up back on a video and go, well, so and so said this, and you know what? You're acting like a 2-year-old. That's not me. Okay? I'm a very straightforward person, and I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I have no problem admitting I messed up, or I may have, upset somebody's feelings. And I'll admit I'm sorry. I'll be like, yep, okay, that probably came out the wrong way, and I do apologize. Everybody is not going to have the same opinion I do, and I don't expect them. That's what makes us individuals. So that's my favor. Okay? You know, please, I guess, like and subscribe. I'm really looking for more subscribers. I'm really trying to get this channel off the ground. I'm really trying to meet more people and reach more people like us who are dealing with people who may feel like they're in a crisis and they want to reach out and say, hey, this really hurts. And it does. Being a caregiver hurts. You're dealing with other family members, or you're dealing with your loved one or your spouse or your partner, and some of their reactions. Then you're dealing with doctors, you're dealing with other therapists, and you're dealing with nurses, and you know and depending if you've got religion involved or if you've got hospice involved, you know all of that falls on the caregiver. And then you're like, okay, you're swimming in your own little whirlpool right there. Meanwhile, trying to take care of that person and give them the best care. So you play nurse, you play therapist to them. Not to mention if they are unable to do their financial needs. So then you become bookkeeper and house cleaner. And, so no wonder why the caretaker role is so exhausting. Then you throw in, oh, I got to go get groceries. Because you got to eat, they've got to eat. And then, oh, well, some people have dry cleaning that needs to get done. Oh, wait a minute, I've got to go to the pharmacy. Because when you're caring for somebody who has a terminal disease, there's medicines. There's lots and lots and lots of medicines. So there you go. Now you got to go to the pharmacy. And then you got to keep it, so you become a pharmacist. So you're dealing with all of those. And then you got to write down what times they get those meds. And you have to keep track of all those meds. Now you've got people coming into your house because that's what happens. You say, okay, with Jason, he's got speech therapy. And then there's, we got home health coming in. They're delivering this or that. Okay, got to be ready for that. When do you take a breath? Well, you got to. You got to find a way to take time for yourself. Because otherwise, you're going to either implode or explode. My time, and I know this is going to sound silly. I told you, my favorite place is my porch. And it really is. That is my safe space. And it's really funny because my family knows that if I'm on my porch, you don't bother me there. And it's nothing that I've trained them to do. It's just kind of I don't know. It's really funny how it's just worked out that way. So what I do is Jason's first medications, we start at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And at 10 o'clock, he gets his dressing change. So what I do, and you don't have to do it, but I take a long time to wake up. That's just who I am. I'm not a pop out of bed. I'm not a Mary Poppins and get up and get going type of person. My eyes open, but the brain don't come on. So the first couple of hours, the gears are in there and they're like, they're rusted. And I don't have my coffee. This right here, that's my WD-40. That's how I get going. So I get up at 7. And I start my day at 7. And I get my coffee. And I go out onto my porch. And it was funny. Yesterday I was bragging about 80-degree weather. Well, today was 60. And it's amazing how, a couple of weeks ago, 60 felt like 80. Well, now 60 feels like 40. So it's amazing how, it gets like that in the blink of an eye. So I get up at like 7 o'clock, between 7 and 7:30. I let the dog out. I almost said dogs, but unfortunately we had to put Marley down. And so I let the dog out. And the cat is usually, so I have to check her food. And in the meantime, I get dressed and get my coffee going, let the dog back in, and I sneak out onto the porch and I start listening to the birds. That is my revamp. And I just sit there and I take it in, and I don't think about the cancer. The cancer is not there. And after I've had my first cup of coffee, I come in and, I've already checked. I have a continuous glucose monitor. So I do check what my sugar is when I wake up. And then I give my first shot of the day to myself. And I'm like, okay, I'm good for now. And then I will start my breakfast and start getting things ready for him and then get his day started. And then at the end of the night, after I've done all my videos and I've edited my videos and got my videos sent off, guess where I end up? Back out on the porch. And I take just about a 20-minute coffee break, because I drink coffee before I go to bed. And I just woosah. I come in, I take my nightly medicine, and my medicine list for myself is like this. And I get in my pajamas, and because of my fibromyalgia and my Raynaud's and a couple of the other diseases, the medicines I take at night tend to knock me out fairly quickly. Sorry, my hands are tingling right now. The polyneuropathy. And so my medicines tend to knock me out quickly. And then I go to sleep for the night, and then I get up and start the day all over again. So my 2 hours in the morning and my half an hour at night, roughly 20 minutes to a half an hour. And those are my woosah moments. So that's what I suggest to you all. That's my thought of the day. You take what time you can, where you can, and you woosah. And I know it's really hard to try to keep cancer out of your thoughts. And maybe I'm unique in that way, I don't know. But I can actually shut off that side of my brain for a moment. It doesn't last long. And every now and then it sneaks up on me when I'm totally unaware. And I fight back the tears. And I grab a good moment and I smile. Because the good moments, even if they're small and few and far between, they're your good moments. Don't don't let cancer take that from you. Okay? It's already stealing the one that you love. And sometimes it steals their personality and it feels like it's stealing their soul. Don't let it take your memories. Don't let it have that power. Okay? So today, we had some memories. And I really encourage you to go watch my mini video. It's very short on Jason's first outing since the hospital. And I smiled just thinking about it. He was having an amazing day. Yeah, we had some questions to answer. I mean, it's his family because it was one of his aunt's birthdays. And so we did have some questions to answer, and we got through them, and it was perfectly fine. But most of the time, we were cutting up with family and just having fun and good food. Oh, yum, 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 yum. Jason tore him up some macaroni and cheese. I didn't think that man could eat that much macaroni and cheese, but he found something. He's very limited what he can eat because, like, half of his bottom of his left jaw is gone. So he's very limited what he can eat. So when he finds something, he's, so he tore it up. And it was so fun to sit there and watch him be able to eat. Because so far since all of this started, he's lost almost 30 pounds. And this is before the treatments have actually started. So we'll see what happens. But today was a good day. After the week we've had, today was a whole woosah day. But as always, keep those small, tiny fractions of moments. Keep them to yourself. Keep them as good memories, and just know one day at a time. Okay? That's my food of the thought for the day. All right? And as always, please like, subscribe, share. Please, 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 please comment. I'm begging for comments. All right? Don't make me beg. And as always, love you. And I'm praying for y'all. All right? Later.